Okay, I think we're good. Okay, you came back right on time. It just said recording started. Okay.
Cool.
What's going on? Everyone, this is BIGCED back again, the industry cosign. Got a special guest today, a talented artist. We're about to get into his story. He just released the debut album, Mud. And as opposed to me giving a full introduction, I'm going to let him introduce himself. So, everybody, this is Ivory Scott, and
What's
welcome to the industry cosign.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, Sam, for having me, man. Appreciate you guys for having me, man. For real, it's always a pleasure vibing with you, for real.
No problem. Let me just. My other computer just gave me a notification. I thought I turned it off, so got that. Okay, that's done. Okay, so
Okay, okay.
um, for the people that may not know you, let's give them a little background as far as. Actually, you know what? You just released an album. Let the
Yeah,
people know the name of the album, the label it's on, when it dropped, and anything that you want regarding the album.
yeah, for sure. So my new album, my debut album, my first album as an artist. Of course, we know, I've been a part of a lot of big songs as a songwriter, but this is my debut album with myself as an artist entitled Mud. Under Monarch Music Group, you know what I'm saying? It's been a blast, you know what I'm saying, creating this project. I'm super excited about it.
That's cool. Now, I know you're from Chicago, and I know you have a story because I attended your dinner last week. Yeah, last
For
week,
sure.
and I definitely enjoyed. And as you saw when you first came on, I was enjoying the music. When
For
somebody
sure.
asked me who was my next interview, I said, I gave you a name. I said Ivory Scott. I was like, what I like about him is that he has a good story and he has good music. And I
For
hate to
sure.
say, 'cause I've been in the industry for years, it's either one or the other. Typically, it's never
Yeah,
both.
yeah,
And like I
yeah.
said, I did get a chance to listen to some of the songs at night. And for the past like half hours, I was listening to more songs so I can get more of a feel. How do you get inspired? Oh, even before we get to that, because you are a songwriter, as you stated,
Yeah,
you've written songs
yeah,
before. So let people know, like some of the artists you've worked with and how long you've been actually writing songs.
yeah. I actually, I did my first publishing deal in 2019. I've written for Beyonce, Ed Sheeran, Chris Brown, Young Blue, Lil Durk, Trippy Red, Madonna. I mean, the list is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been blessed to work with some of the greatest artists in the world. You know what I'm saying? And I have like tons in the pipeline, and I've like probably been a part of like 40 number one records. So like I'm blessed for real.
For someone that just started in theory, I mean, you got two big icons on there, and of course, well, actually three, if I'm correct, because everybody you named is definitely a great artist, but Madonna, I mean, Madonna is like an
Yeah,
icon, and then Beyonce and Chris Brown. I mean, being in the midst of people that I'm pretty sure that you admire and that you've witnessed their work. How did it feel
yeah.
for you to actually be within the scopes of actually working with them? Because I know it's a big difference between like working with them and seeing them work.
Yeah, it's so crazy because it's like I work with so many different caliber of artists, and like the biggest artists are always the easiest to work with. It's like, you know, Madonna pinched my cheek when I met her. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like such a welcoming thing, you know what I mean, to work with artists of that caliber because you know that they've worked hard, man. They really put it all in, and I felt likeliness, like, you know what I'm saying, I felt like I belonged in those type of rooms, whereas like I might go in with an artist that might have had one hit and their head is bigger than the room, but you know what I mean, but like all of my experiences, personal experiences with those artists, man, was like heavy, like for real.
Now, as we've already acknowledged, this is your debut album. Since you've been writing songs for other people, how was the process for you actually writing for yourself?
Yeah, very personal. Like when I write records for other people, like I'm diving in. It's probably a 30-minute conversation before I write any words because, I want to be able to give, their fans what they want from them. Where it's like when I'm writing for myself, it's personal. If you listen to my album, I speak about a lot of things that I actually went through in my life for real. Like not like, making things up and just saying, yo, I did this or I did that, or that's why a lot of the music on there, it just hits the heart because it came from the heart. It came from a real place, things that I've actually went through and experienced in my life. So it's very personal, when I write records for myself.
Yeah, that was gonna be like one of my questions as far as like the inspiration for the songs. Now, when you were working on your album, did you already have songs that you had prepared, or did you write it specifically for the album, or was it a combination of several factors?
Yeah, it was definitely a combination of both. Like I've been working on this album for like the past 2 years. The first record that I got for this project is Mud Trauma, and the album actually wasn't titled Mud when I came up with Mud Trauma. It was just a record that I did specifically for myself, coming from a place of, a person coming from struggle.
Right.
Whereas like some records like might have been intentional. Like I went to this project is actually executive produced by Hitmaker. So like my brother, like so I went to Miami and we did a bunch of records for the project. And then there are records that like I just did, dolo, you know what I mean? So it's been like a combination of like intentionally working on the album and also just records that I feel like once I come out the booth, I'm like I'm keeping this one. You know what I mean? Because when I go in the booth, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I have no idea what I'm about to say. Like I haven't written a song down, I don't think ever. You know what I mean? Like I go in the booth and it comes straight from the hip. You know what I'm saying? Like when I wrote Baddest for Chris Brown and Young Blue, like was the first words that came in my mouth was the hook to the song. Um I don't know. Like the process is crazy.
So you don't have a particular process; it's just a matter of what comes to you.
Yeah, what comes natural. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like somebody told me this a long time ago, and I hate that I can't remember who it was, but your first idea, most of the time, is your best idea in music because it's coming from a more natural place without, real thought. Like, you're not really trying to overthink it because music is a feeling. It's more than what you hear, it's how you feel it when you hear it. So, I've been successful at that, you know what I'm saying? Like shooting from the hip. And my experience and my life experience helps me to be able to do that. You know what I mean? What I've been through, what I'm saying, what I've experienced in my life, it helps me to regurgitate it much easier than, the average person.
Yeah, I'm a former music producer, so I get it from the music angle as far as like the
Yeah.
feeling and things of that nature. Now,
Yeah.
what led you to have a career or pursue a career in music?
Man, like I've always been super inspired by songwriters and people behind the scenes. Like to start off, like I was so inspired by the Dream. I was so inspired by Neo. I was so inspired by my mom's love for Babyface. You know what I mean? Like I was so inspired, by people that were behind the scenes because I felt like those were the real talents. Those were the people that were really coming up with ideas. It's so crazy because I realized day before yesterday because I've been doing a lot of interviews and I was like I get this question a lot like when did I really fall in love with the idea of writing a song, and it's crazy because I remember watching the Five Heartbeats and watching the brother writing with his little sister, and like they were in the room and he's like writing the lyrics down and he's like balling it up and they're trying to come up with the perfect song, you know what I mean? And I was like I was so like my mom used to play that movie like all the time, bro, like, and I used to just be like, man, I want to write a song, and I just fell in love with it, and I don't remember when I started, but I know for a fact like that was one of the pivotal moments for real.
Now you did mention at the dinner that like I want to go into because I know it partially inspired you as far as your family, and I know that you don't have the idea like story that people are like, oh, this, that, and other came with this, that, and the other. Um,
Yeah.
I want you to let people know like what you told us the other night, as well as how does that drive you to write the type of songs that you write when the type of thought comes to your mind. Because I know everything is a
Yeah,
process.
for sure. Like, growing up, as a child, in poverty, on the south side of Chicago, you know, my dad, was an active drug user. My mom was in and out of my life. Like I had so much turmoil, in my life where I had no structure, and like music was like my happy place, man. Like I would like put the headphones on, teach myself how to play the piano, put the headphones on and tap into, my favorite music artists because it was my escape from reality. My reality a lot of times was no dinner. My reality a lot of times was no lights. My reality was like sleeping in my coat because it was too cold and we ain't had no heat. My reality, was walking to school in slides and 4 inches of snow. Like, what I'm saying? Like, that was my reality, but music allowed me to express, different parts of within me and different parts of happiness in me. And it just helped me, what I'm saying, to be able to like really like express. And it's just, a lot of times, what I'm saying, like looking back at my life and what I've been through in my life, I know for a fact that, God has had favor on my life, bro. Like, it's no way I could be or where I am or where I'm going, what I'm saying, if it wasn't for the grace of God, because most people that come from where I come from either end up dead or in jail, what I'm saying? And even my brothers are an example of that, what I'm saying? So I'm just, what I'm saying, like it's favor, man, on my life.
Yeah, and the reason why I wanted you to touch on it because I want to give you props because as you definitely know, and I know from my upbringing, and like my life has been great, so I'm not even going to try to claim that like I had that type of upbringing, but I have friends
For
and
sure.
family that took
For
a
sure.
completely different direction. So from like I was touched when you mentioned that the other night because I'm like, you took whatever it was and made it work for you as opposed to using it as an excuse. And I definitely
Nah,
applaud you.
1,000%.
I
One
definitely applaud
thousand
you for
percent.
that.
Like honestly, like it's so, even though like, my upbringing was so, dark and like just like, hurtful and a struggle, what I'm saying? Like I'm so grateful. I can't even express how grateful I am to have went through something. You know what I'm saying? Because it made me who I am. It made me see things the way I see things. It made me more sharper. It made me more paranoid. It made me more, what I'm saying, like sufficient. It made me more hungry. I don't feel like if I didn't go through any of the stuff that I went through, I don't know if I wouldn't be the same person.
Yeah,
And I feel like sometimes, God, puts you through things and allows you to go through things in order for you to become a light for someone else. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a young black kid, somewhere going through exactly what I was going through not too long ago.
yeah,
It's somebody without heat right now, right now. Somebody without lights right now. It's somebody that is struggling, don't know when their next meal's coming, don't know, where they gonna sleep. And it's like if I could be a voice for those people alone, I'm happy. I feel like, that's my purpose in life. So I'm gonna use this music as the gateway to get my voice and to be heard in that aspect.
and I applaud you once again. Now I know that there's some people here that probably don't know what mud means because we all grow up in different neighborhoods. Everyone has different expressions, and the name of your album is Mud. So let the people know why you named it Mud and what does mud mean. Your interpretation, because like I said, there are people in different sections of the country that might not have the lexicon of mud within them.
Uh huh.
So you can let them know.
Yeah, mud is, it's coming, it's about coming from the struggle, getting out the mud, turning dirt into diamonds, I think of like when I think of mud, I think of, the letters MUD, I think of like, what I'm saying, it's like motivation under duress, what I'm saying, motivated under duress, I had to like strive for something, under duress, under,
Yeah,
stress, under, turbulence. And, that's what mud, really means like to me.
that's cool. So now that your album is out, and I'm pretty sure that you're still working. What
For sure.
goes through your mind when it comes to still working as a songwriter and now officially, not to say that you weren't a recording artist before, but a recording artist with an
Right.
actual project out. So what
Yeah.
goes in your mind now? Because now it's like you're on a different level Not saying higher or lower, but because now you have
Yeah.
a new role now.
Yeah, I mean, it's you got to I feel like, the important thing with anything is like you got to find a common balance.
Yeah.
It's like, everything is like a chapter. And I'm not saying that like songwriting was a chapter and it's like over. When I get so busy as an artist that I can't go do sessions and write records for other artists, then that time will come. But as of right now, I still, what I'm saying, I still probably got 50 songs in the pipeline to come out, as a songwriter. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different energies, within me as a writer that like a lot of times I couldn't express, as an artist because it don't match with my image, it don't match with who I am. But I could definitely get into those bags. I can write for Madonna. I wouldn't drop a record as Ivory Scott, a Madonna record as Ivory Scott. So it helps me channel that energy. So I'll always write songs, as long as I can. You know what I mean? But only God knows.
You mentioned image, and I know that one of the things you stated at the dinner was that you appreciated working with your label because, and as you've heard, and as there's many stories over the years where artists are like, they wanted me to be this artist or they wanted me to be this way, but you acknowledge that you were able to be who you are. How does that feel knowing that there were other artists that can't do that, that have a certain talent that a record label kind of dictates, but you said you had the freedom. How did that make you feel when it came to your approach with recording the album and just songwriting in general?
Yeah, I feel like honestly, bro, like I feel so free. You know what I mean? Like it's like I've always like ran into situations where um I've always ran into situations where I couldn't like fully be myself. Where it's like, people say, "Give me the rapper tag." Oh, he's a rapper, or they give me the tag. Oh, he's an R&B artist, or give me the tag. And there was a time where I was doing pop rock music. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like I don't ever want to be put in a box, and I feel like no artist should be put in a box. I feel like, Picasso was never put in a box. But somehow because we created genres to monetize it and to separate it, it's like it breaks the artist up to say, yo, I can't be, I always say I want to be the first artist that's number one in all genres because, I can. It's not like I'm faking like I could, rap. I'm not faking like I could, do R&B. It's like it's really what's coming from me. It's really what I'm inspired by. You know what I'm saying? And that's super important to me.
So
And I'm so grateful, what I'm saying, like to my label, what I'm saying, to JY seeing it in me. Like I said, like I was signed off demos, you know what I mean? Like I got my artist deal off of him listening to my demos and saying like, man, this kid needs to be an artist. And most, execs would look away instantly and say, hey, he's all over the place. You know what I mean? But I feel like I captured in this project a lot of elements. I'm not gonna say all the elements because, like I said, art is art. But I captured a lot of different elements that I found a way to mesh it and make it seem seamless. And I feel like that was important for being accepted, as an artist that is very diverse.
as a songwriter, do you have any people that you um not necessarily look up to, but or may look for inspiration as far as fellow songwriters, even if it's no one you know or from the past? Are there any that come to mind?
Yeah, for sure. Like it's so crazy because like a lot of my peers, like fellow songwriters, like Hitmaker, Krishan, Derek Milano, London J, like a lot of the artists that I work with, I mean the songwriters that I have worked with, what I'm saying? Like, hold on, bro. A lot of the songwriters that I do work with, that I have worked with, is what I'm saying? Like we all like are cohesive, you know what I'm saying? But I learned a lot from like them and as far as the rate that they work. You know what I'm saying? I've sharpened my sword based off like the things that they've done and things that I've seen them do.
Cool. What if for somebody who's looking at you right now and wants to be a songwriter slash artist, what advice would you give them in order to for them to become successful or at least get ahead into the game?
Man, honestly, the best advice I can give any songwriter is to outwork the opposition. Like I didn't wake up one day a great songwriter. You know, I write 10 songs a day, bro. Still today. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm in the studio right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to outwork the opposition. Like, I've been a part of so many big records, and I just, you know, it's like when a producer sends me a pack of one beat, you know, it lets me know, tells me everything I need to know about them. You know what I mean? Because it's like you have to be able to outwork, you know, this is competing. This is a sport, you know. So if, you know, any advice that I can give them, you know what I'm saying, keep your head down and also be authentic. You know, people connect with real more than, you know, fake any day. You know, be truly who you are and be authentic in your music and it'll shine through.
Let me go back to the album for 1 second. Several questions.
Yeah.
Who else is featured on the album?
I got my brother Two Chains, Young Blue, my sister Tink, Queen Naija, my brother Kevin Gates. It's I got it's pretty heavy, bro. I'm blessed, bro. I can't like for this to be my debut album has such
That's
heavy
impressive.
features,
Exactly. Exactly.
man, crazy.
So and when I've spoken to artists in the past, and I know they hate this question because they probably get asked this all the time. What are your favorite songs on the album?
Oh my gosh. Um, man, dude, I change every day. Like, it's so crazy because like sometimes I might wake up and I might just be in a mud trauma mood, or I might be in a believe mood, or I might be in a money uns mood. I might so it changes every day, bro. But the one thing that I could say, you know, about this album is it's a song for every day. It's a song for every mood that you could possibly be in. You know what I'm saying? You might not feel like, you know, being all motivated. You know what I'm saying? You might feel like just having a good time. It's a record for that. You know, you might be vibing with your girl. You might just need a record to vibe with your girl. It's a record for that. You know what I mean? So it's a record for every type of day. And that's what I wanted my first project to be. You know, I feel like as I grow as an artist, I'll zoom in more to certain topics and have certain projects that are focused, you know what I'm saying, on certain things, but I feel like this was a taste, you know, for everybody to be like, man, this dude can really play in all courts.
Yeah. Not to put pressure on you, but what would you consider to be a success as far as your career within 10, 15, 20 years? Like what I'm interviewing you 20 years later. Like what
Yeah,
have you done or what is it that you see on your plate? And of course, we know in life things can go in any different directions, but we also have
yeah.
goals, inspiration, dreams of that nature. Where do you what would you label success if you can look 20 years ahead of time and know that you've done so much or done certain things? What would, and I know it's a hard question,
Nah,
but
it's actually an easy question. I'm not
okay,
gonna lie to you. It's an
okay,
easy
cool.
question. You know, I feel like, you know, what I see success as is putting, you know, not just the people around me in position, but affecting generations, changing lives outside of my own circle,
Okay.
changing lives. You know, that's success. You know, the accolades, man, I have so many plaques in my house, so many awards, so many trophies. You know what I'm saying? And it's great. You know, I remember there was a time in my life where I was like, man, I just want one plaque. I just want one platinum plaque or one gold plaque. And when I think about, I can't even order plaques fast enough right now. You know what I mean? And it's like, so the awards and the trophies and the money and all the accolades, they gonna come regardless. But you know, success to me is being a general and being, you know, the person to put people in position. You know, so when I sit back and I'm looking at, you know, all the people that I've put in position to change their lives and change generations and families and break generational curses and things like that's success to me. That's
Cool.
success to me.
I know I have limited time with you. I just wait. I have so many notes, and I just skipped over something I was just about to ask. Oh, now we know in this industry that sometimes you either have to or you want to do a different or another hustle. Is there anything that you would want to do outside of music, whether it's acting, whether it's fashion, whether it's construction? Is there anything that you can see yourself doing as your career? Because, like I said, we all know people that have multiple things going on. Have you ever thought about doing anything outside of music? Not besides music, but outside of music.
Man, I think about doing everything. I like honestly, bro. Acting. I mean, look. This is what I always say. If one man could do it, I could do it. You know what I mean? So I don't put no limitations on my life, man. I could become like I always say, like when I retire, I want to be a pilot and fly planes and shit like that. Like so, it's like I don't. As long as I'm on this earth, I'll forever try new things and I'll forever, explore. Because I feel like that's what we here for. So there's no limitations, bro. Beyond music, who knows what we might be doing next, man? We might be on the moon.
Cool. Okay, well, any suggestions, advice, words of wisdom, anything you want to give your audience, or just to say before you go?
Yeah, man. Keep God first. Everything else will follow.
Definitely, I definitely appreciate your time, and like I said, I enjoyed the music, I enjoyed your presence, and one thing because I've been in the industry for a couple of years, and I
Yeah,
usually vibe off of energy outside of
for sure.
talent because we have a
Sure.
lot of wicked people in this industry, so I don't want to be
Yeah,
involved.
for
And
sure.
I immediately wanted to talk to you because I felt your vibe, and I felt the
Respect.
positiveness that we need to experience as well as the talent. And I'm happy that less than a week later I was able to talk to you because sometimes
No,
you know
for sure. I'm glad we
exactly,
did. For sure.
exactly. So
I'm
once again,
glad, bro.
I appreciate much luck in everything you do. Hope the album does what it needs to do. I hope the next
For sure.
17 songs you do outside the album will become platinum hits. And
No, for sure.
like I said, that you get everything that you want to get and
For sure.
enjoy life. You know,
Man, I appreciate it always, bro. I appreciate.
What- no problem. Once again, uh, big said and out. If I can find the button. Peace, people.